start in child's pose, focusing on taking deep breaths into your low back. Feeling both sides expand. We've got this compression in the front, so we can use that breath to open up your whole back. Maybe rotating the thumbs outward to get more of a stretch in the shoulders. And then next we'll move into a tabletop position. Take the knees a little bit wider. Take your right arm over and send the hips back. Getting a stretch through the right side of your body. And then we'll do the other side. Left arm goes over, send the hips back. Can you breathe into that left side? Then we'll move into a tabletop for a few cat-cows, knees a little bit wider, and then inhale, drop the belly, look up, rock your weight into your hands, and then as you exhale, rock your weight into your knees and tuck like you're doing a crunch, moving with your breath, feeling a good stretch in the psoas. Next we'll do some twists, so raise that left arm up towards the sky and think about rotating your hands out to zip up your shoulder blades. Then exhale, thread that arm under. Top arm can open up for a further twist. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, set that hand down for the other side. Inhale, the right arm up. Exhale, thread it under. Cheek can go to the mat. Breathing into that side, and then inhale, unwind. Exhale, back to tabletop. We'll do some bear taps. Tuck your toes, lift your knees an inch off the floor. Then we're tapping one knee to the mat at the time by rotating our hips and trying to keep our shoulders completely stable. Our tailbone is tucked, nice neutral spine. Press into the hands and lift the chin. Go ahead and relax, tuck the toes and sit back on your heels for a quick foot stretch. Next we'll meet in tabletop, and we're going to do a rotating tabletop, rotating from table to modified side plank. Lift through the rib cage, then pretend you grab the rope overhead and pull it down towards your hip, and then open and stretch again and rotate. Lifting through the top rib cage, pulling down towards my hip, inhale, stretch, exhale, back to center. Moving with your breath, pausing where it feels good. We'll meet on the left side, and this time we're gonna kind of stand up into this gate pose and do a twist. So that left arm down, looking up at your right hand, up towards the sky, getting a full twist in your spine. Exhale that right arm down, we'll do some cat-cows. Inhale, lift the tailbone, exhale, tuck, shifting your weight slightly into your hands when you inhale and slightly into your knees as you exhale, getting a good stretch in that hip. And then we'll open back up and square back to the front. Back to our rotating table, we'll do the other side. Sitting up into gate pose. Then we'll twist on both sides. And then our little cat-cow, send your hips back, lift the tailbone, inhale, look up. Exhale, round it out, getting all the air out. Pausing where you need to, moving with your breath. Inhale your right arm up. We'll move back into that modified side plank. Stretch and roll back into the tabletop. We're going to keep up with this rotating table, and this time lift that bottom leg. And then stretch open. Exhale back to tabletop. Switching sides, moving with your breath. Grabbing that rope, and this time pulling up that bottom knee. Let's do 2 more on each side.
Waves in the ocean travel thousands of kilometers before reaching land. Wind waves on Earth range in size from small ripples to waves over 30 meters high,
And then we'll do a pelvis alignment. 90 feet hips distance, lift the hips. Interlace the hands. Pull your right knee into your hands and press that left heel into the wall. Tuck the tailbone as you inhale lower. We'll do this 3 times on both sides. Moving to the left side, feeling that left hip flexor and right glute this time. Rolling it down. Grab a foam roller if you have it and place it between your knees. We're going to lift into that same wall bridge position. Then I'm going to slide my left knee up as my right hip goes back and alternate. If you don't have a roller, that's okay. Just try to think of keeping your knees fairly together and shifting your hips. So one knee should come out front as your other hip pulls back, alternating. Keeping your tailbone tucked, core engaged. Next we'll do some bridges. Grab your block, put it between your knees, heels out a little bit in front of your knees. Tuck your tailbone, lift the hips. Now squeeze the block between your knees and pull your knees forward as you tuck your tailbone, trying to roll down one vertebrae at a time. Feeling both glutes equally as you lift your hips all the way up. Then feeling length in your spine as you slowly roll down, trying to keep your butt off the floor as long as you can. Let's put the block to the side. We'll take our feet out slightly and let both of our knees fall to one side. Deep breath, and then we'll shift those knees over to the other side. Deep breath. Then we'll take both legs up, knees at 90 for a supine twist, arms out, both knees to one side, and then look over the opposite shoulder, trying to feel heavy, deep, full breaths. And then we'll windshield wiper our legs over to the other side, looking over the opposite shoulder for a good supine twist. Then we'll come back to center and put our legs back in that 90-90 position and sit on up. Right leg forward, left leg back. We're just going to lift that left knee, keeping that left foot on the ground. And then just the left foot, keeping that left knee on the ground, working on our internal rotation, hip mobility. And then we'll lift that whole left leg and put that left foot in front of our right knee for a twist. Just feeling both sit bones as you sit up tall, and then keep twisting to the right. Looking over that shoulder to keep the twist through your cervical spine. And then we'll twist the other way, still sitting up tall, feeling both of your sit bones on the mat. Looking over your left shoulder. And then we'll unwind back to that 90-90 position, still with that right leg in front. And this time we're lifting that whole left shin. Trying to move your upper body as little as possible, flexing that back foot. Next we're going to do some 90-90 twists. So you will keep your feet on the floor, windshield wiper your knees over, stand up on your shins, and keep twisting. Inhale through center, exhale, lift and twist. We'll meet with our right leg forward, and then we'll do that external rotation, lifting that left knee, keeping that left foot down. And then the foot, getting that internal rotation. We'll lift up that whole left leg and put that left foot in front of our right knee. Sit up, feel both sit bones, and then keep twisting, looking over your right shoulder. Deep inhales. Next exhale, twist us to the other side, still feeling both sit bones on the mat, nice and tall, twisting over that left shoulder. Deep breaths. Then we'll unwind back into that 90-90, right leg forward, and lift that whole left leg. Trying to keep your upper body stable. Your weight is on that right hip bone. Feeling that left glute med. We're going to have such good hip stability. Next, we'll lay on our back. We'll keep our right leg up, left leg out long, and then right hand underneath your low back. Next, we'll brace our core and lift through the chest only until you feel your head and your rib cage and your hip bones are in one straight line. So just a tiny lift. And the idea here is that we're bracing our core and we're not pressing all the way down into our hand. And just the tiniest lift with our chest. Next, we'll do a quick neck flexor exercise so you can let your leg out long and release your hands. Do a chin tuck, put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Then lift your head off the floor the smallest amount that you can. We're activating our neck flexors, hoping to get some relaxation in the extensors in the back of our neck. Next, we will lift both legs again, knees to the sky. And we're going to do some heel taps. So dropping one heel to the floor at a time, trying to keep that other knee in the same spot, and trying to keep your core braced, again without, just like we did that crunch, without pushing your low back hard into your hand. If that's too difficult, you can lift into a bridge and do a march. Otherwise, you can leave your feet on the floor, toes lifted, and then just lift one knee at a time. Next, we're going to do a bridge lap pullover, so heels in front of your knees, tuck your tailbone, and lift your hips all the way up. And then you'll have a weight extended directly above your head. And we'll inhale that overhead all the way, and then exhale back overhead. And we're focusing here on keeping our low ribs down as our weight goes overhead. And hips all the way up. Inhale, exhale. Pressing equally into both feet, feeling equal engagement in both glutes. Keeping that tailbone tucked, ribs down, moving with your breath. Let's do one more. And then go ahead and relax. When you press your feet into that block, I want you to feel equal engagement in both hips. Lifting the hips all the way up. Moving with your breath. Then tucking and rolling down.
In this smoking chaos,
Let's
I
do
wish all
one
the blades
more.
kissed. I found you. I found you. I found you. I found you beautiful. I found you exploding. I found you.
Then you can take the block away and flip both knees to one side. You could look over the other shoulder if you wanted. We'll windshield wiper our knees over to the other side. Deep breaths. Send both knees up to a 90, keeping your knees an inch past your hips. And then we'll take both knees over to one side, look over the opposite shoulder. And then keeping those knees an inch past your hips, we'll windshield wiper our legs over to the other side. Looking over the opposite shoulder, deep breath. Then we'll sit back up into our 90-90 position. Our right leg is in front, left leg is in the back. And we're going to lift that left knee, keeping that left foot down. Your weight is on your right hip. And then we'll lift just the foot.
Your head shakes out your heart. You're pulling yourself apart.
And then we'll pick up that left leg and put that left foot in front of our right knee, sitting up tall, feeling both sit bones on the mat, and then twisting, looking over your right shoulder, taking deep breaths, rooting into the ground. And then twist the other way, staying nice and tall, still feeling both sit bones on the mat. Looking over your shoulder. And then we'll unwind back into that 90-90 position and lift the whole shin. So your weight's on that right hip bone and you're trying to keep your upper body as stable as possible and lift that leg as high as possible. And maybe we feel more range of motion on this set. And then we'll go back to that twisting 90-90, keeping your feet in one spot, windshield wiping the knees over, lifting onto the shins and twisting over that shoulder. And then we'll meet and do the opposite side. So our right leg is in front, left leg in back. We're lifting that left knee as high as you can, keeping that left foot on the ground. Then we'll keep the knee down and lift just the foot, working on that internal rotation, maybe feeling more mobile than last time.
I found you. In this smoking chaos.
And then we'll bring that left foot in front of our right knee and feel both sit bones against the mat and twist over your right shoulder. Deep breaths, and then we'll twist to the other side, staying nice and tall. Feeling that strong straight line between your sit bones and the crown of your head. How tall can you be? We'll unwind back to our 90-90 with that right leg in the front, and this time we're lifting that whole left shin again, trying to keep our upper body stable. Your weight's in that right hip. Next we'll go to the heel taps or marches, so we're starting with our knees an inch past our hips, our core is braced, and then we're dropping one heel at a time. Flex your feet and try to hide your feet from yourself behind your knees. Our other variation is the glute bridge march, so keeping your hips all the way up and then pulling one knee into your chest, making sure that other leg doesn't move. Or you can keep both heels on the ground, keeping that core braced, and then just lift one knee in towards the chest at a time. Whichever variation allows you to keep those lower abs engaged. Also making sure that our low ribs are down and not flared up. we'll do our lat pullovers one more time. Heels in front of the knees, lifting the hips all the way up, tucking the tailbone. A weight is extended above our shoulders. And then we're keeping our low ribs down as we inhale that weight overhead and exhale it back over our shoulders. Pressing equally into both feet, pressing both hips up, feeling both glutes equally. Keeping those low ribs down, moving with your breath. Let's do 2 more and we'll stretch it out. Lay on our back, pull your left knee in towards your shoulder, extend that leg towards the sky, encircle that ankle in both directions. And then we'll bring it back to a 90, arms out to a T, and cross that knee over, looking over the opposite shoulder for a supine twist. Then grab your band and keeping your gaze on that top hand, open, inhale into that twist, exhale, closed. Inhale, open, looking over at that top hand, exhale, closed. Moving with your breath. Then we'll roll back onto our backs, hook that left knee in one more time. And extend that left leg out long, pull that right knee in, maybe a little bit towards your armpit. And then extend your heel towards the sky, encircle that ankle in and out. And then we'll go back to our supine twist, put a block under that right knee if it's more comfortable for you. And then we're looking over our right shoulder. Deep inhale, and then we'll grab a band and do that book opener again. Gaze stays with that right hand. Exhale, closed. Inhale, open. Moving with your breath. Let's do one more deep breath. And we'll put that band away and hug our right knee into our chest, rolling onto your back. Extend that leg out long. Then we're going to work our hip flexors. Put your block right next to your right foot. Feel both sit bones on the mat. And then stay tall as you go up and over that block, just lightly tapping that heel. Feeling both sit bones the whole time. And then we'll do the other side, just lightly tapping the heel. Just a few more. Next we'll meet in a tabletop. We're going to put that block under our left knee to start, and then make your hips level, and then we're going to pull that right hip up and then drop it down, trying to keep that left hip stable and your upper body stable. My pelvis is not dumping forward or tucked in. It's in a nice happy middle. I'm pressing into the ground and my low ribs are in. And then a slight chin tuck, lifting the neck. I always have to remind myself that one. One more, then we will switch sides. Trying to keep your whole body stable as that left hip lifts and drops. Pelvis is neutral, pressing your hands into the floor. Those low ribs are tucked in, your chin is tucked, your neck is lifted, so that ideally, not like me, you have a straight line from your tailbone to the crown of your head. And then get into your elbow plank. Nice long line from the crown of your head to your heels. And then we're going to rotate in a 4-step process. Elbow, hip, elbow comes down, hip comes down. Inhale, elbow, and then the hip, elbow, hip. Trying to get as much twist as you can. Moving with your breath. This is super good for our shoulder stability, our rotation. Take a break whenever you need it. And then we'll do one more on each side. Then go ahead and relax, sit back into a child's pose, rotate the palms up, and then we'll shift forward into an up dog, twisting if that feels good for you. And then chest down like a baby cobra, but then lift your elbows so they're vertical. Bend that right leg and send those toes over to the other side for a twist. Do both sides. You can hold it or keep moving, whatever feels best for you. Maybe feeling a nice release in your low back. Then we're going to get into a half kneeling position. Inhale that right arm up and tuck your tailbone to get a stretch in the front of your hips. How much length can you get here? And then drop that right hand underneath your shoulder and open up to the left. Lengthening your wingspan, pulling that left hip back, right hip forward. Then we'll bring both hands on the inside of the foot and do a couple cat-cows. With your breath, pausing where it feels good to you. Then we'll get back up into that half kneel position, hands behind our head. We're going to twist and hinge. Twist the other way and hinge. I'm stabilizing by pulling my thighs in together and by pulling the mat apart between my left foot and my right shin. I'm pressing into my left big toe, feeling the big toe, little toe heel. And switcheroo. Right foot forward. Left hand goes up. Tucking the pelvis. Left arm comes down beneath the shoulder, opening up to the right, pulling that right hip back, and then we'll sit up into that half kneeling position and do those twists on this side. I'm pulling my inner thighs together. I'm tearing the mat apart. I'm feeling my big toe, little toe, and heel on that right foot. I'm using my inhale to stabilize my spine and my exhale to press into that front heel. And then tabletop, grab that block again. We're going to do those hip lifts. Block under your left knee, lifting that right hip all the way up as high as you can and then dropping it, trying to keep the rest of your body stable. Pressing your hands into the mat, those low ribs are in, and your pelvis is neutral. Not dumping forward and not tucking, just nice happy middle. And tuck your chin, lift your neck. You always got to make that adjustment. Inhale, drop the hip. Exhale, lift. Inhale, drop. Exhale, lift. One more, then let's switch sides. Put the block on your right knee, and then you're keeping your body stable. And dropping that left hip on an inhale, exhale, pull it up. Pressing into the mat for strong shoulders. Doing a chin tuck and lifting the head. Just a couple more. And then we'll get back into our elbow plank for our plank rolls. Elbow, hip, elbow, hip. Inhale, elbow, hip. Exhale, elbow, hip. Whatever speed feels good for you. We're working on our thoracic rotation. We're working on our core muscles. And we're working on our shoulder stability. Moving with your breath. Elbows pressed firmly into the mat for strong shoulders, and then not letting our pelvis dump forward or tuck, just that nice happy neutral. And then we'll sit back into a child's pose, rotating the palms up, back into our up dog, twisting if that feels good. And then lowering the chest for that floor scorpion one more time. Lifting one foot, tapping those toes to the other side. Lifting the elbows towards the sky to get the chest stretch. Moving from side to side or holding it, whatever feels better for you. And then we'll get back to our half kneeling position, hands behind our head, and twist and dip, starting with our left leg forward. Inhale, exhale, press into that front foot, and I'm squeezing my thighs together to stabilize, tearing the mat between my feet, and feeling my left big toe, little toe, and heel. If this one's really tough, grab your block and put it between your front knee and a wall and press your knee into the block as you twist. We'll do the other side. Squeezing your inner thighs together, tearing the mat apart, feeling that right big toe, little toe, heel. Let's do a couple more. Next, we're going to figure out our ideal squat stance. So lay down on your back and pull your knees in towards your chest. Keeping my feet in line with my knees, I'm pulling my knees out inch by inch and trying to find where I have my knees closest to my chest, because that's going to be the deepest I can get into a squat. And once I find that spot, I'm just going to sit up and hang out in the bottom of the squat and get comfy here and breathe. Next, we're going to practice our squat form and breathing. Without moving your feet, I want you to think of rotating them outward into the ground and feel your outer hips engage. Take a deep breath and hold it to brace, and then drop down, and then exhale as your head gets to about shoulder height. Pretending you have water at shoulder level, you're going to hold your breath as you go below water, and exhale when you get above water. So you're rotating your feet outward into the ground, and that's making space for us to drop down, and then pressing equally into both feet, keeping our heels down as we stand up. Inhale, sink down, exhale. Grab a weight if you want. We'll just keep doing a few more, focusing on form. So going slow, focusing on your breath, focusing on your feet, feeling big toe, little toe, and heel through the whole movement, equal pressure in both feet. Next, we're going to sit cross-legged and get connected to that pelvic floor. So feeling both sit bones on the ground, sitting up nice and tall. We have a triangle in the front and we have a triangle in the back, and we're going to pull up on both of those triangles. You're squeezing like nothing is going to come out either end. That is your pelvic floor. Now, practicing breathing, we want to relax the pelvic floor and make space for our inhale, and then expand the ribs, and then air goes into the chest, and then as we exhale, the low ribs pull in, the pelvic floor and the low abs contract. Inhale, relax the pelvic floor, open through the ribs and the chest. Exhale, the ribs close, and then like an elevator, the pelvic floor pulls up, and then those low TAs, lower abs, can engage. So we're relaxing the pelvic floor as we inhale, expanding the ribs and the chest, and then as we exhale, the ribs come in, and then the pelvic floor and the low abs can engage, keeping those upper abdominals loose as we exhale. Relaxing the pelvic floor to expand through the belly and the ribs, and then exhaling, pulling the ribs together, and then your low abs pull in and up. Slow, deep, intentional breaths. Starting to take some deeper inhales. We're going to shift to a pigeon stretch with our right leg forward, sitting up nice and tall, and then folding forward, putting your head on a block if you need to, and just breathing, relaxing that right hip, maybe rolling that left hip down. And then we'll switch sides, bring that left knee in front and over, sitting up nice and tall, and then folding forward, relaxing, melting into the mat. How heavy can you feel? Deep, slow breaths. Then we'll sweep that right leg around and keep that right knee soft and toes flexed for our hamstring stretch, and then we'll roll that left shoulder open and get into that left side, keeping that left hip down to the mat if you can. Then we'll switch sides, rolling open, hamstring stretch, whatever feels best to you, moving back and forth or just holding it. Next, we are just going to lay down and relax and breathe. You can be in constructive rest with your knees together and your feet out, or just legs long, and we're going to practice our good technique breath, relaxing our low abs as we take a big inhale, feeling both sides of our low back expand, feeling our ribs expand. And then as we exhale, relaxing the upper abdominals, pulling in the lower ribs, and then the pelvic floor and the low abs can engage at the end. Just relaxing and breathing through your nose. Putting our body into repair mode. Keep in your inhales. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Thank you so much for playing with me. Bye!